Well, we are continuing with our interviews, Meet the Candidates. And today we are speaking with Joe Cole. We welcome him to WHBC with our meet through our StreamYard. And that's because, Joe Cole, you are where right now?
I am, well, first and foremost, thank you, Pam, WHBC, for this wonderful opportunity. But as many in the community know, I am a proud educator starting my 26th year. And in that time, I've been everything from a principal to a coach to a teacher. And that is where I'm at today at early college at Lehman, seventh grade social studies. Love my job. Love working with the wonderful students and staff that we have here. Proud to be a public educator, especially now when public education is so under assault by those for political reasons and those in political power.
All right, so let's talk about the office that you're running for. You're running for Stark County Commissioner, and you're running against incumbent Bill Smith. So talk a little bit about why you chose to run for county commissioner.
Well, Pam, that's a great question. And I think you can clearly see as you look around, our community is becoming smaller, older, poorer. It's not as beautiful as it once was. There's a lot of blight. There was a report that came out in 2017 that the commissioners were very involved with, and it was commissioned by Stark County Foundation and Stark County Community Foundation. What that was the Strengthening Stark report. And in there, they lay out very clearly that our days are ahead if we do not do something about the current situation. Lack of economic development that we see occurring, our population becoming older, becoming smaller. We're getting to the point where now, when they did this report in 2017, 40% of our population within Stark County, that doesn't matter if you're urban, rural, city, or a township, had to leave their own county to find employment. That was in 2017. It's only expanded. And then you throw on top of it, as I said, the blight. It's not as pretty as it once was. A lot more people suffering from mental health issues, substance abuse, you name it. I mean, the way that we treat our seniors, the property tax issue. I know the commissioners aren't directly related to that, but they are the chief executive of our counties, and they should be standing on their platform crying out that we have seniors that are having to make the tough decisions about paying property taxes, their medical expenses, having enough to eat in some respects. It is that bad. That's why I'm advocating a freeze on property taxes. That's what I'll be doing as commissioner, talking to the powers that be, saying, look, we got to have a freeze on property taxes for anyone 65 years or older, on Social Security, disability, living in their own home. And that is what we definitely need to do, because we treat our seniors terribly within this country. And that's a shame. That is a real shame. And this is something that we could do to fix that, and fix that quickly.
Would that be something that you would do permanently, or would it just be for a certain period of time?
I'd like to see that as a permanent thing. I mean, once again, the commissioners are not directly involved in that to that extent, but I think you, as the commissioners, you have that mouthpiece. You're the chief executive of the county. Get out there, convince those that do have the power. Talk to people, hold those meetings. Just don't pass the buck and say, well, I'm the county commissioner. I can't do that. That's not where. No, we know that's a huge problem. You're in a leadership position. You must do whatever is in your power, influence, hold meetings, hold town halls, hold your fellow elected officials their feet to the fire so we can get some resolution on this. And one of the things, Pam, that I'm so passionate about is that I want to restore transparency in county politics. And what I mean is the county commissioners hold their meetings during the day. And as you can see, this is my lunch break right now. We don't have regular working people like you and me. We just don't have that ability. And all of our other citizens out there, just to take off a day of work, try to get downtown Canton, try to find parking, which is always a challenge. And then have your time to speak and share with the commissioners what your issue is. What I am advocating, and this has been something that I've been saying for years, and it's one of the top things on my platform, is the county commissioners need to move those meetings to at evenings. And what they also need to do is not have it just in Canton. We all rise, we all sink together. This is not urban versus rural. This is not township versus city. What we need to do is hold those meetings throughout the county. We can easily do that at the local libraries of these communities and also township trustee offices. Then we can meet the people where they're at. They can come, they can hold their public officials' feet to the fire when there's a problem. They can express their concerns. And in my experience, that's always been the best way to get new ideas, because let's face it, none of us know everything. And we don't like reinventing the wheel if we don't have to.
One of the things that has been something that they have been very proud of is the fact that they have been fiscally responsible. Back when you look back 10, 15 years ago, even, it was a mess in the county commissioner's office. I remember covering those meetings as a reporter. The jail situation was horrible. Those things have been rectified, but if you would step into that situation, you would be coming on with 2 other county commissioners. Talk about working together. How would you see that working out?
Absolutely. Great questions. First, I think one of the reasons why, and you use the example of the sheriff's, the jail, I think that's because of our sheriff. I mean, he's wonderful. I think that is more a testament to his leadership than that of the commissioners. I believe at this level, these national politics and the extremes of both parties, I think we're moving in a post-party era where, look, I'll work with anyone. My goal is focusing on what is good for Stark County, what is good for every citizen, regardless of what their political philosophy is, whether that they have an R, a D, or an I next to their name. So that interests me nothing. I'm about getting results. Secondly, I would just give a little bit of an example of some of the economic initiatives that the commissioners have done. They returned $7 million to the federal government that was used for rental assistance for the elderly. So I don't know if that's a good usage. That money was returned to the feds. Our small business owners out there that are constantly struggling, this is something that was a slap in their face, and every citizen in Stark County, that your commissioners, what they chose to do was to go with a Summit County company, a vendor, as opposed to a reputable vendor that had worked with the commissioners for years, has an 80-year track record of being a successful company, and yet they chose to go with a Summit County company. Now I get back to this strengthening Stark report. Where in there does it say, which is their supposed to be Bible, their blueprint, their roadmap to get Stark County back? Where in there does it say, hey, we think you should go with different companies that are not even in Stark County? Now, that to me just reeks of bad government. It reeks to me of not doing your due diligence. And we see this time and time again with our commissioners. They're always in a CYA mode. They get a call, their constituents don't like it, and then they're fretting, and then they'll talk out of both sides of their mouths. And there's just many examples of that.
I do know with some projects, I don't know if it's the one that you're talking about, that there's legal issues. They have to take the lowest bid. No matter where the company is located. So that does occur sometimes, but
with those,
just to be clear,
No, absolutely. And that's a great point. There are certain rules that one must adhere to. Once again, those exploration of ideas did not occur. I'll give you an example. The solar farms, regardless of what your opinion is on solar, for me, I'm for all energy formats, whether it's, fossil fuel, green energy, whatever. I mean, we need energy. That's so obvious. But the commissioners didn't even explore. Look, for example, we have all of this land in Uniontown, if you recall the chemical issues that they experienced for many years in the Hartville area. Why couldn't we have explored that area for a solar farm? Now, I'm not saying that would have been the end all to be all or if that would have worked, but shouldn't you, as a leader of your county, be looking for every opportunity? One, you're making sure that you're making the citizens happy. They didn't want the solar farm right by them, but we need jobs, and there was an opportunity maybe for land that could have been used for that wasn't simply explored. Once again, getting back to the strengthening Stark report, it lays this out, and one of the things that it doesn't say is, hey, if something doesn't like, a certain way something's going, hey, just forget about it, move on. No, you got to start thinking outside the box. And I just don't see a lot of that happening, in my opinion.
What kinds of things would you do to, because I've heard other people talk about this throughout the county, wanting to keep the younger people here, the kids who graduate, the college kids, bring them back home to stay, and raise a family and all those kinds of things. What would you do to try to work on that?
Oh, that's a great question. Do you recall, and you might remember this, we had a very successful program that was called TAP, and it stood for Talking About Potential. And what happened is the leaders in every facet of our community, whether it was government, whether it was business, whether it was education, labor, the nonprofits, they got together with their local legislators, and they actually sat down, created those partnerships where we were bringing money back into Stark County. If I'm lucky enough to be elected, that's one of the things that I'm going to do, and bring that program back where they would meet regularly. The state representatives knew of certain projects, new people they could work with, bringing money back into the area, because the only way we're going to attract those young people that have left, or to keep the young people that are here, is we have to create employment. We have to create jobs within our community. And I think that would be the best way, having all those diverse voices meeting together. Whether you're from part of the city, part of one of the more rural areas, you're going to hear the loudspeakers coming on. So I just want to give you that. But
yeah, should I change rooms?
But that program would be a wonderful idea. Talk about potential, all working on the same page. It is a wonderful program that was very successful, and it just went by the wayside. We're going to resurrect it.
All right. So for folks who are watching or listening, one final reason why they should vote for you.
Well, I think it's very simple. We have been doing the exact same thing for a number of years and expecting a different result. I think that this is beyond politics. This isn't, as we talked earlier, at this level, it's not about an I, a D, an R. This is about people that when they talk, you believe what they're saying, that this is about truth, transparency, and what better way to have transparency, which is our biggest issue, is to meet the people where they're at. Let's go out there. Let's get into the communities. Let's hold our meetings. And guess what? Sometimes they might not be pleasant for everyone. That's all right. That is your job. We've forgotten public service. The public service, you work for the people. It's not the other way around. So you should not be holding those meetings during the day. Now they'll say, oh, we tried this. They never properly publicized this. They never had meetings well in advance, and the moving around aspect never occurred. So we're going to go to every part of this county, and people will be able to say, oh, and this week they're going to be here. The next week they're going to be there. So you'll have that opportunity where we're going to take government on the road where it should be. It should be meeting these people where they're at. The location in downtown Canton just it simply just doesn't work. The hours don't work. The location doesn't work. The parking is not there. It's a no-brainer. And the fact that, we continue, this is like something that could have easily been handled a number of years ago. And the fact that it wasn't just shows that we have folks there that have been in there way too long. that this is time for some new voices, some new leadership, people with a different background, people with a different perspective.
All right. Joe Cole running for Stark County Commissioner. We wish you the best of luck in November. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate this opportunity.
Probably where